in case there were troubles like last week, I would have a chance to deal with them, hopefully. But so far, everything's going really smoothly. So let's see if we can get this going on Facebook. So far, everything has been working out really well. I don't know about this, though. So far, that is not coming on. Oh, there. Wow. It took a long time. But it did it. Wow. I have to fill that out and go live. Wow. This is pretty exciting. Okay, it says it's live. All right. Now, this should work. Let's see. I'm going to I hope this works. Okay, I practiced it yesterday. I learned it yesterday and practiced it. So hopefully that will work out well. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start the slideshow. Okay. Okay. Now, let's hope this works. So far, things are going well. This says it doesn't want to, it's not responding right now. Hopefully that will shift. And then we can do a few slideshows, which is what I have in mind. Okay, let's see. Yes, it's going to the next stage of this. Someone suggested that it's maybe the bandwidth of the internet. Uh, it's supposed to have been increased, but it's hard to see evidence of that with this computer. I hope the current in this 1 hour Zoom show, I focus on sharing tips and less. We have to teach this in action. Demonstrating by one movement. I learned this strategy from 3-year-old children. I was teaching them a complex conflict resolution strategy, actually intended for adults, and they taught me this. So don't think you're in for a rough time. It's simple, it's easy, it's powerful and effective. It works if you use it. The one rule: start strong. You have decided that you really want harmony with your child. That sounds so good, right? Everyone feeling good and getting along. You've decided that you do not want to make your child do what they do not want to do, and you do not want to do what you do not want to do, and you are going to make this work. You have decided that you want to use the one rule to make this happen. This is going to become your new habit. You remember that when you use the one rule, you are sharing the following messages with your kids. I want us all to be happy. We are each important. Together we can solve our problems. I believe in you. I love you. To create this new habit, you are going to start with yourself and what you want. You decide that you are going to let how you feel about a situation determine whether you agree with it or not. If it feels good, then you can agree with it. If not, you cannot. Think about a situation. Ask yourself, is this situation okay with me just as it is? If yes, your work on that is done. If no, what would have to change, be different, so that I could feel good about it? Maybe several versions of this situation would feel fine with you. Maybe only one. This exercise, this practice, helps you make a habit of following the one rule. No matter what age your kids are, this exercise helps ensure a strong start and makes following the one rule so much easier. Here's an understanding that might make following the one rule even easier. Recently, I asked myself a question. What do I want people to feel when they are connecting with my work? I definitely want them to feel good about themselves. Then the following answer appeared, to my surprise and delight. I want people to realize that they are already using the one rule. That understanding surprised me, and as more and more of it was revealed to me, it delighted me. Of course, people are already using the one rule. I'm not teaching them anything they don't know. I'm not teaching them anything strange to them. I'm just helping them expand their use of something they use daily without thinking about it. They use it. You use it. Every time you come to a decision inside of yourself, you're using the one rule. Most likely, you had to consider several options or possibilities to reach that decision, even if it just took you a few seconds for you to agree with yourself. That is what I want. You also use the one rule whenever you agree with someone else. Together, you come to a decision, an agreement. Yes, tomorrow I'll go to the auto parts store after I get my nails done. Even with your kids, you are using the one rule. You are coming to agreements. Think about it. Of course you are. You're just not thinking of it as a rule, as something required. So at times you are not coming to agreement. I am here to help you think of coming to agreement as required, as a rule, as the one rule. You just expand the situations where you come to agreement until coming to agreement is just what you do and your kids do. It is the rule you and your kids follow. When you use the one rule, you are creating harmony. Your kids are creating harmony. You are becoming used to creating harmony, familiar with how good it feels to everyone involved. One point to be clear on is that even if a situation seems complicated, and it seems that it is impossible to find a solution that everyone involved can feel good about, it is still possible. An important thing to remember is that there is a way for things to work so that everyone involved gets to feel good. Keep that in mind. This has been my experience whenever I have made this effort. A clear, helpful way to introduce using the one rule to your kids actually originates from the first time the children introduced me to what is now the one rule. You can do what I did. So they could understand what we were doing. I told the two little girls 3 things. 1, you are each important. Point to each person involved. You are important and you are important. And if it is your problem too, I am important. 2, you or we each deserve to feel good. 3, we are going to use the one rule to help this happen. Then tell them what the one rule is. When you actually start working with your kids using the one rule, helping them follow their interests is one of the easiest ways for you to start. That makes sense, right? It is also one of the most beneficial things you can do for your kids. Why is it good for your kids to do what interests them? One primary reason is that their interest is a key to helping them become the best versions of themselves that they can become. When we do what interests us, we are very engaged and focused. Think about doing something that interests you. When we are engaged and focused, what we do and produce tends to be of much better quality than if we were not interested. Interest helps result in excellence. An even more important result of being engaged and focused is that our whole being is involved in what interests us. That is why we are engaged and focused. We are experiencing harmony, inner harmony. That is a good reason to allow and encourage our kids to do what they're interested in doing. I have observed children doing what really interests them, and they become peaceful, harmonious people, even if they were not before. Now, it does not mean that everything that interests our kids is going to always interest them. They may be interested for 10 minutes or 10 days or 10 years, or even for their lifetime. The point is that they are following their interests, not the specific thing or experience that interests them, or the length of time it interests them. So if they ask for your help, please help your kids follow their interests. If for any reason you really do not want to do what they're asking you to do, that is a perfect time to use the one rule. Another reason for helping your kids follow their interests is one that is taking care of you too. When they are eager to do something, instead of resisting doing it, you do not have to encourage them to do it or insist that they do it, let alone force them to do it. Think of how much of your time and energy could be available for you to use as you wish. Helping them follow their interests is actually the one rule in action, taking care of you and your kids. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so this is the end of the first slideshow. And let's see if it's easy to transition to another one. Oh, good. I think this is the one we'll do next. Oh, yes, this is the one I wanted to do next. Okay, we're going to skip a few of the slides. This one is creating harmony with the one rule when agreements fail. Now, okay. Now we're going to start on this one because the other would just be repetition of what we've already done. Okay, let's see. Last week, I was asked a question by Batul Kazmi, the Asian representative of Happy Kids Co. What is good to do when agreements fail? When someone has agreed to something, but they do not do what they agreed to do. I said I would cover this during today's Zoom show. It was suggested that the other people involved in the agreement would lose faith in that person and not want to trust them anymore. What might be good to do when your first reaction is to not trust that person? I guess one question to ask yourself if you are the person who feels like not trusting. Do I want harmony with this person? If it's your child, I'm sure you would answer yes. Creating harmony is the role of the one rule. I'm going to have some water. The simplest thing to do might be to forgive them for not doing what they agreed to do, and suggest that together you find another solution that you both like. Remember, you are not expected to agree to something that does not please you. No one is supposed to do that. That would almost guarantee that you could not find harmony. You might want to find out what went wrong, why they did not keep to the agreement, but it is not necessary. All that is essential is that you all try again. It's just like learning anything new. At first, you might not be 100% successful. You might make a mistake or even several mistakes. It may take many tries to get really good at this new skill, especially if finding harmonious solutions has not been the practice. It can help to know that if someone has broken trust by not following through on what they agreed to do, together you can rebuild that trust. It might not be as easy as if they had done what they agreed to do in the first place, but that trust can be rebuilt. So if your child has not done what they agreed to do, please do not give up. Do not give in to the temptation to stop trusting them. Just come to a new solution that everyone involved likes. If you can all agree with this, this might be the fastest path to harmony. Remember your commitment, your inner agreement to follow the one rule. It is just one rule to keep in mind, to remind yourself, I want to follow the one rule. I want to find harmony with my kids. It didn't work this time, so we'll have to make a new agreement. I'm sure we can do this. Think of how it feels to find agreement within yourself. Whenever you make an agreeable decision, like agreeing to follow the one rule, or remember the times you came to an agreement with someone else. It felt good, right? And it feels good to think about it, right? Once you and your kids are successful at finding agreement, and when everyone does their part, that is going to feel very good also. That is great motivation to continue. The important thing is that harmony is found and maintained. How you decide to do this is not as important as the fact that what you decide to do, the solution you all come to, is something that everyone involved likes and agrees to because they like it. That is the essence of the one rule. I feel like I want to read that again. The important thing is that harmony is found and maintained. How you decide to do this is not as important as the fact that what you decide to do, the solution you all come to, is something that everyone involved likes and agrees to because they like it. That is the essence of the one rule. Here is something I have just added to the training on the one rule in the book, The One Rule to Raising Happy Kids. It helps to agree and decide that if anyone changes their mind about the agreement they made, as soon as possible, they let the people they made the agreement with know and then they can all decide what to do, even make a new agreement. Now, if you are the one who has not done what you agreed to do, you can restore the faith in your kids. You can restore the faith your kids have in you and your word. First, I think it is most helpful if you forgive yourself for not doing what you agreed to do. Perhaps that is not an issue with you, but just make sure you forgive yourself. Believing in yourself is essential for inner harmony. Maybe you agreed to something that you really did not want to do, so you ended up not doing it. Maybe you wanted to do it, but there were outer circumstances that it should be prevented it, that were beyond your control. Maybe after you made the agreement, you decided you did not really want to do this, but you did not tell your kids and make a new agreement. You just ended up not doing what you had agreed to do. Since creating harmony between you and your kids is the goal, it can help if you understand why you did not do what you agreed to do. You may not need to explain it, but it might help if you do. It is a good idea that before you make any new agreements, you all agree that if, for any reason, anyone is not going to do what they agree to do, as soon as possible, they will let the others know so you can all change the agreement. This is a foundational agreement. Now, to restore the belief your kids have in you and what you agree to, the most important thing to do once you have made this foundational agreement is to stick to your agreements. Make sure you really agree with the solution, and if you need to, you let them know if a new agreement has to be made. Oh, good. I'm glad you're here. All right. Now that worked out. Let's check on this next one. Okay. I almost thought it wasn't here. Okay. This was a peace day when I prepared this, but I didn't get the chance to share it. I think I have shared it once, but I felt like doing it again today. So the one rule keeps peace in the family for you. When I started working on today's slideshow, I thought I understood certain things, but as I worked, more was revealed. Recently, there have been questions and concerns that using the one rule might not work. I understand where these concerns come from. After all, it is such a different approach than parents are in charge. Not only that, it is so simple. How can something that simple work? It just couldn't be that simple. And since it is so simple, it must not really work. It's got to fail. It doesn't make sense. Although I really want everyone to adopt the one rule when relating to kids from birth onward, by just adding it to whatever way they parent now. I do understand the concerns, and I'm going to do my best to address them today. When I was first introduced by 3-year-old children to what I now call the one rule, I told them to help them understand what I wanted to help them do, that they were each important. Then I pointed to each of them and said, "You are important, and you are important." They could agree with that. One little girl's awareness expanded to realize that they were both important. I saw it as her eyes lit up. I now realize that her eyes may have lit up because she thought of a solution. However, before thinking of the solution, she had to accept that the solution had to be something that they both liked. Until now, I believed that her eyes lit up because she expanded her thinking to accept that both of them were important. Of course, that may be true. However, it is only now that I've come to realize that whether that is true or not, by following what is now known as the one rule, she found a peaceful, harmonious solution, a solution that was enjoyable for both of them. That is true for anyone who uses the one rule. There may be more than one peaceful solution, but it has been my experience working with kids that there is always at least one agreeable solution. No one has to believe that they are important or that the other person is important. But when a solution is discovered that all involved truly like, so they can agree to it, they are acting in peace. They are peace in action. This is built into the one rule. Even if people's awareness does not expand to include the importance of the other person, as long as they are following the one rule, they find a solution that they both like or they all like, and they agree to use that solution. The result is peace. They also get to feel good about themselves and their life. They are happy with the solution. It may not be the solution they originally thought of, but they like it anyway. That is why they agreed to it. Think about how you feel when things are going a way you want them to go. You feel good, right? Another thing I mentioned to those first 2 little girls was that they both deserved to have what they want, and that we were going to figure out how to do this. This is the main thing that people have trouble with. This is why people have trouble believing that the one rule works. They want something and someone else wants the same thing. Like the little girls both wanted to swing on the same swing, the only swing available. Whatever the situation, it seems that there is no way that both people could have what they want. They think that they have to give up on what they want, or the other person does. That is the most common outcome. That is what people are used to. It's hard to realize that there is a peaceful solution. It's hard to accept a possibility that seems so uncommon. I just realized that when I promised, I vowed to never force my children to do what they did not want to do. I put myself in the perfect position to be open to peaceful answers. Peaceful solutions require that everyone involved agrees. This does not mean that they just say they agree, but that they fully, truly agree, because that solution is something that they like. So I have been using the one rule for at least 38 years. For most of those years, it was called the power of respect, and there were 108 respect tools, skills, and strategies I used to make it work. That's why I know I found a true solution, mighty enough to stand on its own. One rule. In case some of you don't know, the one rule came into being one night when I wondered if people would actually have to learn the 108 tools, skills, and strategies I'd used to create respectful relationships with the kids in my life. That night I asked myself, of the 108, what is the least that people need to know to be able to raise happy kids? The one rule was my answer. And that one rule is powerful enough to create peace between parents and kids, and powerful enough to be your fail-safe in your intention to raise happy kids. The one rule is peace in action. Here are a couple of examples of how the one rule can ensure happy kids and peace between adults and kids. My youngest daughter and my 6-year-old grandson were visiting. The one rule had just taken on its name. As I was explaining the process to them, my daughter used the word agreement to explain the process in one word. I liked it. I use it. It seems appropriate that the one rule has a one-word description. My grandson liked to watch TV and YouTube video cartoons. My daughter did not really want him to do that, especially as much as he wanted to. One time, when he asked me to set up my laptop for him, I told him that I felt uncomfortable doing this because his mom did not feel good about it. I wanted to work this out with her too. He thought about this briefly and suggested that he and I play cards. So we did. We had fun. So here, all people involved were honored. Peace was maintained. Everyone felt cared about. Another example is from someone I coached on the one rule. One issue she had was feeling uncomfortable always buying her 5-year-old daughter things every time they went to the store, especially when her daughter could earn money for those behaviors and buy her own things. Her daughter liked earning money. The parents liked the behavior. Here again, all people involved were honored. Peace was made. Join us. Actually, the affiliate program is just about done. Maybe I thought I could finish it last night, but that didn't happen. I have to check back with the company first. And so maybe today it will be done. And I will put up a link so that you can join. It doesn't cost you anything. And if someone uses your link and purchases something, you get 50%. just for doing that. Okay. I'm glad you're here. Okay. This is really going smoothly. All right. Let's see if we can transition to the next. Okay. Let's go for this guardian. I'm not sure which one it is. Oh, wow. It's already started. Okay. The story I am about to tell you is a slightly different approach to finding harmony than I usually focus on. Today, the focus is on kids finding harmony with adults. We also look at a different aspect of the one rule. The one rule still helps them find harmony. Oh, this is a guardian story. There are 5 of them. This, I think, is number 4. So let's see. Let's go. Kathy, my mom wants me to come to the next Parent Teacher Student Association meeting and tell them the idea for the fundraiser. Okay, I need some water. This is also something that I'm getting going, the fundraiser. She thinks it's a great idea, but wants me to explain it to everyone. I'm feeling very nervous. I'm not used to talking with groups of adults, said Jenny. You'll do great, Jen, said Pam. The girls had stopped by to talk with Kathy. She was their one rule coach, after all. And since she was an adult, they figured she'd have some helpful ideas. So Jenny could feel confident sharing the fundraiser idea with all those adults. Jenny's mom said there'd be at least 15 people, including parents and teachers. I'm especially worried about talking to teachers. I've been pretty lucky and had friendly teachers, but they're not all like that. I hope there are only friendly teachers and parents at the meeting, said Jenny. They were all sitting on the porch, Kathy, Timmy, Jenny, and Pam. This was not a regular meeting day when all the guardians would be there. Pam and Jenny were just walking Timmy home. They hoped it would be a good time to talk with Kathy. It was. Well, I certainly understand what you're talking about, Jenny. I sometimes have to deal with very rude people in the restaurant. I always remember the one rule, said Kathy. The one rule, said Pam. What does the one rule have to do with talking with rude adults? They are not going to even try to be agreeable. You might be right about that, but there is something you don't know about the one rule and about rude adults. I've never explained how we learn to use the one rule with 2-year-olds, said Kathy. 2-year-olds, interrupted Pam. I don't get it. What do they have to do with grumpy adults? I'll explain, said Kathy, because they actually have a lot to do with each other. When we are using the one rule with 2-year-olds, We have to do most of the work. With the 2-year-old, and if we can't, we have to help them choose something we can agree with before the 2-year-old is determined to get or do something we don't like. Rude adults are kind of like 2-year-olds. We have to do most of the work trying to agree with what they want. Just like 2-year-olds, they don't know how to even want to find agreement. We are the examples of the one rule in action to both of those groups, 2-year-olds and grumpy adults. I do get it, exclaimed Pam. They get to see how good it feels to have someone see their side of things and consider what they want is important. Oh, I get it. I get it too. I can just think of any grumpy adult as a 2-year-old who doesn't know better and be an example of a caring person to them, said Jenny. Yes, said Kathy. And the other thing is that probably when these adults were small, people did not treat them kindly. And that's why they developed the habit of being rude or whatever. Maybe using the one rule this way might help them feel better about life and other people. At least that's what's in my mind. When is your meeting, Jenny? I think it's next Thursday. At least that's what my mom thinks. She's going to find out for sure. Well, at our next guardians meeting, let's act out talking with adults, said Kathy. I was thinking the same thing, said Pam. Me too, said Jenny. We'll do it, said Kathy. I'll explain to everyone what I explained to you, and then we'll do our practice. It feels like building a bridge between people. It feels expansive. It's what Ken did when he reached out to Jeff and invited him to be a guardian, said Pam. Yes, said Jenny, and that has worked out great. I feel better already. I'm sure I'll feel great by the time of the meeting. I'm sure you will, Jenny, said Kathy. You are an awesome coach, Kathy, said Pam. Well, we'd better go. Bye, Kathy. Bye, Timmy. A few days later, the guardians were all gathered at Kathy's and Timmy's. Jenny told them about her upcoming meeting with the PTSA. Everyone was very excited about this. Pam explained how they decided to talk with Kathy about creating harmony with adults, even rude, grumpy adults. Everyone agreed that that was a problem sometimes. Then Kathy explained what she had told Jenny and Pam and Timmy about using the one rule with 2-year-olds and rude adults. She also explained that they had decided that if everyone felt good about it, this day they would practice finding harmonious solutions when dealing with adults. She said she'd been thinking about this since they met a few days ago. She knows that we can all understand that adults who are not feeling happy and friendly are feeling bad inside of themselves. Some of these adults have been feeling bad for a long time. That's why they're rude or mean. Right, said Jeff. Everyone knew he spoke from experience. People who feel good inside, people who are happy, don't want to hurt other people in any way, said Kathy. So maybe we can be a bit of goodness in their lives if they come into our lives. It could make a good difference in their lives, maybe even a good, big difference. The one rule can help us do that. So let's do this. Yes, shouted all the guardians. Then they partnered up and went to create their demos. Okay, guardians, who goes first? Asked Pam. I want to go first, said Jenny, since this is all because of me. Jeff is my partner. Maybe your need started this, but we all need it, said Kathy, even me. Our problem is a grumpy father who doesn't like the idea of the one rule for a fundraising event. He thinks they should have a carnival. Here's what we came up with. No way. We always have a carnival. Everyone loves it. I love the carnival too, said Jenny. Everyone has fun there. Going to try their luck at the different booths and eating all the delicious carnival food. We have to have a carnival, but I think we can have both. You're a crazy little girl. Do you know how much work is involved in having a car in the carnival? No way can we do both. I know it takes lots of people, lots of work to do the carnival. This won't take very much work. We have the place. We can do it here at the school. There's almost no setup involved. Lots of the kids are interested, even some of the teachers and parents. It doesn't sound good to me. I understand that, but think of how much money we can raise with just a little work. Every student who participates is going to have their whole family come to see them, and friends and neighbors. All those people will buy tickets and goodies during intermission. We'll make a fortune. Kids love to act, to be on stage. They will only need one day to learn how to do this and to perform at night. We could even do a few of these, inviting kids and families from all over town. Kids from other schools already like the idea of the guardians. Well, the guardians is a good group of kids. I guess that is a good idea. You're right about making lots of money. Maybe we can use some of that for the carnival. Yes, that is a great idea. Then Jenny and Jeff took a bow and everyone clapped and hooted. Wow, said Kathy. Awesome use of the one rule for 2-year-olds. We'll have to think of a name for that version of the one rule. We want to go next, said Timmy, Elaine and I. Elaine is Jeff's younger sister and in the same class with Timmy. Here's our problem. Well, my problem. Talking with a mean, bossy teacher during lunch. Here's what we came up with. Elaine is the teacher. Timmy, get over here and sit down. You know you're not supposed to sit on that wall. Oh, Mrs. Jones, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. Don't you lie to me, young man. No one is supposed to sit on that wall. I don't lie, Mrs. Jones. I just never sat on the wall before and it looked like fun. I'm sorry to have bothered you by doing that. Fun? Jeremy fell off that wall and cracked his head open. He was my student. And can you imagine? They blame me for that. His mother, his father, his whole family. They've never stopped blaming me for that. So no one sits on that wall ever. I don't ever want to catch you on that wall again. Do you hear me? Yes, Mrs. Jones, I won't ever sit on that wall again. I'm glad you explained how dangerous it can be. Well, yes, I'm glad you understand. You can go and play now. I'm sorry I yelled at you. You go play. Timmy and Elaine took their bow. Everyone clapped and hooted. Great demo, you two. She sure is mean. You were great with her, Timmy. I don't think I'll ever be afraid of her again, said Timmy. Me either, said Elaine. You both did a fantastic job, said Kathy. Come here, Timmy. She gave her son a big hug. I loved seeing how strong and wise you are. It's not easy to deal with such really rude and even mean people. I'm so glad that all of you are understanding how to use the one rule with grumpy adults. I'm glad you're not grumpy, Mom, said Timmy. Me too, said Kathy. Who's next? Who next? I want to go next, said Ken. I have some good news, and because of that, I want to do something different. I want all of you who want to be my partners in this next demo. As you all know, I'm very involved in scouting. Well, I'm invited to speak at a scouting conference. I've been thinking that I'd like to suggest a new badge, the one rule. Wow, Ken. So I want to practice my presentation. This is just going to be the first time. I'll probably want to practice it lots of times. After everyone was settled, I've been invited here to present an idea for a new badge. Even Cub Scouts could start earning this badge. It could go all the way to Eagle Scouts. I learned about it by joining a club called Guardians. We help keep kids from being bullied and from becoming bullies. I want to propose that we have a scout badges for the one rule. Then Ken bowed. That's as far as I can go today. Everyone clapped and shouted, "Great work, Ken. You go, Ken, our hero." Awesome, Ken, said Kathy. We'll definitely all work on this. You're going to give a stellar proposal. Awesome idea. Guardians, I am so proud of all of you. On with the show. Who's next? Thanks for being here. And don't forget to keep an eye out for the link so you can join as affiliate and have a new income stream. I'm stopping the screen share. I wish you all a great week. Stop the live.